let's talk about life. So as some of you know, I was planning on going to PAX South this year, which would have been my very first PAX South. I've never been. However, that did not work out. I unfortunately ran into some financial issues, financial snafus. I've no one to blame but myself for them, however. I don't really want to get into that right now. Maybe another time. So I did not go to PAX South, but it looked like everyone had a great time, which is awesome. I was very happy to see all the pictures and everything that everyone posted, although it did give me PAX sadness, which is, you know, where you start to miss all of your friends that you met and made and saw at PAX. I am still trying to go to East. That is still up in the air at the moment. Things are kind of in transition for me. I have moved yet again, and I will be moving yet again, probably here very shortly. So a lot of transition going on in my life. I started therapy recently. I've been very open about that because it was something that I didn't do for a long time. I think because I felt like there was such a stigma against it, and I was, frankly, kind of a little embarrassed. I have been doing all kinds of crazy things, actually. I have been buying, like, stim toys, and I have been going to therapy, and I have basically just doing whatever it takes to make my life better. If you want to see, this is one of my stim toys, which is actually jewelry. So it's got a magnetic little clicker here, little magnetic clicker, which is fun for me. And then I can also spin and play with the beads. So for those of you who don't know, stimming is an activity that autistic people do to help us stay calm, control our emotions. It's soothing. We are prone to anxiety and high stress levels and things like that, and stimming helps us be more mellow. So you're gonna probably see these on my stream. I bought something else too, but I didn't really like it, so I'm not going to be using or wearing that. I'll be returning it. And I bought something else, but it's in my bag, and I don't feel like grabbing it right now. Well, actually, wait, it might be right here. Hold on. Maybe. Hold on. Oh, yep, I found it. Okay, cool. And this one is probably my favorite, because it is a squishy, bouncy ball thing that you can pull and mold and shape. So this is a good fidget one. This is a really good fidget one. I have always talked, I think, well, not always, I should say. More recently, I have been very, very open about things like my autism, and I've always been very open about my EDS, so that's nothing new. But this is the first time I've been to therapy, and it's kind of interesting because I always assumed that I was very, very bad at social interaction and that I was bad at understanding people. And the reality is I'm actually very good at it. I just second guess myself, like, horribly, like, horrifically. Talking to my therapist and doing those kinds of things has been very eye-opening. It has been, yeah, it's been really enlightening. I have learned a lot about myself, about my self-doubts and my misconceptions about myself. So with the move and everything, a lot of things have been changing. I have decided that I am going to pursue going back to college. So I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and he's been in college for, I don't know, years at this point. I think he's getting pretty close to finishing his degree. And I was talking to another friend who just changed majors, and, like, just talking about, you know, how much I missed when I was in school. Like, I haven't been to college in, like, 5 years. I was 23 when I got diagnosed with EDS, and I got diagnosed because my health fell apart so horrifically that I was, like, in and out of the hospital every other week. It was bad. But my health's actually been pretty, I mean, for me, fairly stable for the last, like, 2 or 3 years. And I've started to have this hope that maybe going back to school is something that I could do. Because I've always wanted to, I just never thought it was possible. And so I'm actually really, really excited. And no, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. It's going to definitely be out of state. I feel like I love where I live. Don't get me wrong. I love this city. I do. And I have a lot of friends here. I have a great support system. But I want to do something different, you know. And so I'm going to be doing an aptitude test and maybe trying to figure out, like, what am I good at and what am I really good at? And then I will be figuring out, like, where can I go to school to study this, that, or the other. Because originally, I don't know if you guys know, I was studying software application programming in college. And as enjoyable as that was, I don't know if it's what I want to do for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I have, like, this one little piece. Go fuck yourself. Sorry. But for now, I am going to be sticking with the streaming. The stream and the schedule should be, I'm going to be updating the schedule, and the stream should be back to, I guess, normal-ish for the foreseeable future up until I move again, which hopefully this upcoming move is going to be a lot more structured, organized, less frantic, a lot less bullshit involved, and yeah, it's going to be a lot nicer, and I'm pretty excited about it. I actually knew where I was going to be moving from here before I moved back to here. I actually figured that out ahead of time. I planned things rather well, I think, considering that I had no way of knowing what was about to happen. There's a lot going on right now, so I need you guys to kind of have some, I guess, empathy for me. Just be aware that there's a lot going on, a lot of bullshit that I'm having to deal with right now, and I can't really talk about some of it yet. Just suffice to say, I'm okay. I'm doing quite well, and everything's gonna be fine. It's actually kind of funny. And I really wish I could talk about it, but I can't just yet. But it's kind of great, and it's one of those things where when you make a decision and you're not totally sure it's the right decision, but then something else happens, you're like, wow, I did the right thing. Like, thank you life, for showing me that this was definitely the right choice. Thank you for showing me that, you know, my doubts had a cause, and thank you for showing me that, you know, I should have listened to myself, I should have listened to my gut, because I was right. So yeah, the stream schedule should be resuming here. I will be updating it. It's going to be slightly changed because my schedule is different. I will be starting a new project here on YouTube. It's called the D100s. So as you guys know, I am a dungeon master and I play a lot of tabletop, and D100s are probably my favorite thing to use. So for those of you who are not as familiar, D100s are used to for the most part, to roll either percentile, so like, oh, you have a 25% chance of, you know, pass or fail. Or they're used for random outcomes. So let's say I have a chart that has 100 objects on it, and I roll a D100 and it says, oh, you get, you know, 63, and 63 is this. So the D100s is going to be a project that I'm going to be working on, and it's going to be where I'm talking to 1 or 2 other people at a time, so very small groups. I don't want... Let me explain this. Okay, so it's going to be very small groups talking about specific topics. So topics will be chosen based on what you guys want to talk about, but also based on who is available and what they want to talk about. So if you're like, hey, you know, we really want to talk about indie games, well, I'm going to reach out to my friends who are either indie devs or who play a lot of indie games, or like whatever the case may be, where we can then talk about indie games. Or maybe you guys are like, well, we want to talk about autism. Well, then I'm going to reach out to my friends who are autistic and can talk about autism. Or you guys are like, hey, we want to talk about, like, you know, game development. Same thing. So any topic on which I can, you know, sort of speak about to any degree. I don't have to be an expert, obviously. But then I can reach out to people and make it a regular thing. So what they're going to do, and the reason it's called the D100s, is the people that I bring in, I'm going to roll a D100 and they get assigned a number. So it'll be kind of a fun little thing, and then I'm going to set up a little page for it. It's kind of I mean, it's still ongoing, but I'm hopefully going to start this week. And I'm hopefully going to do weekly episodes. I don't know if I'm going to pick like a specific day to do them. What I do is I may just do them so that I record them sometime during the week and then release them on the following week. That way it's like on a schedule. I think that'll work best. But like I said, this is kind of in flux. This is in, it's in alpha. But I do want to get it started because this is something I've been talking about doing for months. And it's something I've finally been able to start to get to underway. So if there's specific topics that you guys want to hear about, feel free to let me know. And if we don't get to them right away, we will eventually, because I will keep a chart. I actually have some stuff that people had suggested previously from before, so I still have those left over. What else? Oh, the reason it's going to be small groups. So I know that some people really like the big discussions with like 7, 8, 9 people, but I feel like as great as it is to get all those perspectives, no one's voice really gets heard enough. You know, I've done stuff like that. I've been on group talks like that, and it is great. It is so amazing to have different viewpoints, different voices, different opinions, like different backgrounds, because you will never be those other people, so the only way you can learn about their experiences is by listening to them. But the problem that I've run into and the problem that I've seen is like, let's say I'm in a big group and someone's talking and I really want to hear what they have to say. What they have to say, to me, is vital and interesting, but there's a time limit because there's so many people. So it's like, well, we're going to have to cut you off. We're going to have to cut you off. I really want to avoid that happening. Now, that doesn't mean that there's never a situation where, like, you do need to cut someone off, because there's always an exception to every rule. But my goal is to really avoid that happening. So the discussions are going to be mostly one-on-one or very small group. And hopefully that's a format that's going to work for me. Obviously, I'm going to have to kind of play it by ear for the first few times, but we'll see. And this is something that's going to evolve over time, obviously. I think that's that. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to be trying to go to PAX East. I think I'm probably going to have to decide between PAX Prime and TwitchCon. I don't think I'm going to be able to do both. And in that case, I'm probably going to choose TwitchCon, because as much as I love Prime, and it was such a great time, TwitchCon was just so fucking awesome. Because it was just like, I go to PAX to hang out with Twitch people. Anyway, you know what I mean? And having Prime and TwitchCon so close together, I'm pretty sure my wallet was screaming in pain. Like, it was so bad. I almost, like, the last day of my trip, I actually had to, like, I had to text my mother and be like, I cannot get to the airport and check my bag. I have no money left. Yeah, it was an absolute disaster. I thought I budgeted well. I thought I had enough money. I did not even close. I ran out, like, a couple times. Wild and Kiwi saved my ass. People bought me food. Like, there are so many people that I have to thank for carrying my ass through TwitchCon, in so many different ways. You know, the people are phenomenal. And for the record, when I do go back to school, which I am, like, this is something I am very determined to do, I will not stop streaming. But my schedule will change. Obviously, I will not be able to do, 8-hour, 10-hour, 12-hour days. But I'm not going anywhere, Last year, right before PAX Prime, I had made the decision that I was going to quit streaming, and you guys pulled me back from that brink. You guys and several Twitch people that I talked to, Scarlet Rose, people who are so important to me and in my life, and, they reminded me of why I have so much passion for what I do, and I don't ever want to stop. But I do want things to change. So they're going to change, and for the better. So I'm doing all kinds of, like, self-improvement. My life is getting so much better. I'm removing toxic people from my life. I'm removing bad people from my life. And it's so great. There is this, like, when you have shitty people in your life, when you have toxic, horrible people in your life, and you tolerate them, they weigh you down. They're anchors on your mind and your soul. And when you finally get rid of them, you just feel so fucking good. Seriously. Oh, it's so great. So yeah, so we're gonna be actually doing a stream today after I get this fucking uploaded and shit. And I have no idea what we're playing, I have no idea what we're doing, and I don't care, because it's gonna be kind of a what the fuck ever Saturday, because I haven't seen you guys in so long. It's been like, what, 2 months? Like, shit got crazy. I was very, very busy. Yeah. But not anymore. So, I'm all yours. I'm back, and let's get this done.